Hello there, and welcome to Football Philosopher. Today, we are doing our first change of scenery segment, in which we will talk about players who may need a different situation. The first player we are going to talk about is Anthony Martial. So let's just dive right in. Fast. Fluid. French. Sacré bleu. Anthony Martial was one of the best prospects in football when he made his transfer to Manchester United from Monaco in 2015. It's easy to forget, but it was Martial who was getting comparisons to Thierry Henry before the eventual emergence of Kylian Mbappe. For various reasons, it hasn't worked out at United, and it's time to ask whether he would be best suited playing elsewhere. It feels like a decade ago when he turned Martin Skrtel inside out and scored against Liverpool on his debut. The goal encapsulated a lot of what we associate with Martial when he was playing well. Close control, dribbling past defenders, finishing with finesse. Much was expected of Martial, but despite many opportunities under various coaches, he now looks a shadow of the player that came to Old Trafford in 2015. Granted, Manchester United have been far from stable or functional during his time there. However, there is a certain amount of accountability that Martial has to hold. While some of those criticizing him have called him lazy, which is maybe harsh, there is truth in that he is not a player that consistently works for the team. He is a forward/winger, so he's not expected to be running around like he's N'Golo Kante, but a lack of effort off the ball both offensively and defensively has been a consistent feature of his play, particularly when things aren't going well. What makes this more apparent and noticeable is that Martial has a very languid style that is a little reminiscent of Dimitar Berbatov, another former United player that was criticized for his laziness on the field. In contrast to Martial, Berbatov could get away with it because the team was winning and Berba was scoring a lot of the goals. Speaking of goals, Martial was brought in to be a player who could create and score goals. He has had a couple of decent seasons, but he has never had a great goal-scoring return, nor has he ever looked like he is ready to take that next step in production. Despite getting many chances to start as a left winger and even as center forward, his goal scoring has been nowhere near good enough to make up for his questionable motor. In regards to his goal scoring, this has been where Martial has been most inconsistent. He scored at least 10 Premier League goals in only 3 of his 6 seasons at Manchester United, and only scored more than 11 once, despite averaging 28 Premier League appearances in his 6 years there from 2015 to 2021. And in only one of those seasons, the 19-20 season under Ole, did he manage to score more than 11 in the league when he had 17 goals and 6 assists. Since then, he's only regressed, with several injuries reducing his pace as well. Last season was his worst to date, scoring only 4 goals and 3 assists in 22 Premier League appearances. This season, he has been on loan at Sevilla, and it hasn't gone much better, if at all. He has 0 goals and 1 assist in 8 appearances, 7 of which he started. Not looking good. It is also very telling that he has been subbed off in all 7 starts, showing that he has struggled to make an impact outside of scoring goals. After this season's loan, Martial will be back at Manchester United. It hasn't been officially confirmed yet, but it appears that Erik ten Hag will be the new Manchester United manager. Normally, this would be a positive thing for a player that is struggling, as they would have a clean slate and would have an opportunity to impress the new manager. For Martial, though, this is far from guaranteed. According to a United source, quote, "The players have been asking Donny about Ten Hag because he's played under him before. He told them his training sessions are on a different level to what they've been used to and they'll have to run like they've never run before." End quote. This does not bode well at all for Martial, who does not regularly press the back line with the intensity required to play in a system like that. Van Gaal was a possession-style coach, Mourinho was a counter-attacking coach, and Solskjaer was a more balanced coach that had a much less organized system than the very strict Van Gaal. So, under different managers with different systems, Martial has struggled to produce on a consistent basis. But is there a chance that Ten Hag believes in Martial and trusts him to take his play to new heights? Well, a quote from Brazilian player and São Paulo product Antony gives hope to those who are optimistic that Martial still has a future at Man United. Quote, "Every player under his guidance becomes a better footballer through his training. Since my arrival, he has given me a lot of confidence and believed in what I can do. End quote. This is reason for optimism that were Martial to stay, his overall game would improve and begin contributing again, right? Well, not so much. There are other quotes that negate a lot of this potential optimism. Irby Emanuelson stated, quote, "His strength is that he can really convince a team. The things he said before a game often happened during the match. Sometimes he would go for dinner with the guys. They could really speak their mind. You go through fire for somebody like him." End quote. So it sounds like Ten Hag is very effective at getting his players to play at full intensity and work hard for him. But in regards to Martial, he has never consistently worked hard for the team, even during Ole's time there. And while he did have his best season under Ole, who was the manager who played him as striker and believed in him the most, he was still not working hard off the ball offensively or defensively. So having a good relationship with the manager has been no guarantee of an improved motor from Martial. This last quote from goalkeeper Andre Onana really cements why Martial will not have a key role under Ten Hag. Quote, "When we lose the ball, we must win it back immediately." End quote. This is why it will ultimately not work out for Martial at Man United when he comes back. The incoming manager's philosophy is one where the team presses aggressively from the front, something Martial has consistently shown that he's unwilling to do. So even when he comes back from his loan from Sevilla, it would be in the best interest of both parties to part ways on a permanent transfer. Martial is currently 26 years old, turning 27 later this year. He needs to be getting game time if he has any hope of making it into the France squad for this World Cup in Qatar. Manchester United need attacking players willing to press consistently to fit their new identity. Neither Martial nor the club are absent of blame, nor are either one fully to blame for why it hasn't worked out. Martial has failed the club just as much as the club has failed him. To be nice, his loan at Sevilla has been underwhelming. This makes it so that if they do decide to part ways, the chances of him initially leaving on loan are very low, meaning that wherever he goes will most likely be on a permanent transfer. That leads us to, where should he go? For me, Martial would benefit in a different league with new surroundings. For example, and this would be the most ambitious low destination for him, I could see him as a temporary replacement for Haaland at Borussia Dortmund if he indeed leaves this summer. The problem with that is that the German league is also a very high intensity league, and those shoes could be too big to fill. Another interesting landing spot for him would be in Bergamo with Atalanta, who are relying on a 31-year-old Duvan Zapata to regularly score goals for them. And he only has 9 goals in Serie A this season. Luis Muriel on their bench is also 31 and hasn't done any better. Not to mention that the expectations would be much lower for Martial on a team like Atalanta than with Manchester United or Dortmund. My ideal landing spot for him, though, would be for him to go back to Monaco. This makes the most sense to me for multiple reasons. Martial will be back in France, where he would certainly feel more comfortable. He would also be joining a team with good attacking talent to support him, with both Wissam Ben Yedder and Kevin Volland there. The other layer to this is that Manchester United, among other clubs, have been scouting Monaco midfielder Aurélien Tchouaméni. If there was mutual interest between Martial and Monaco, it could be a huge incentive towards Monaco giving preference to Manchester United were they to pursue Tchouaméni. Despite his underwhelming tenure at Manchester United, there will certainly be options available for Anthony Martial. And he would do well to choose wisely to try and reinvigorate his career. He is certainly a talented player, with plenty left to prove and contribute, but he is one that definitely needs a change of scenery. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Change of Scenery with Football Philosopher. If you like the content, please engage with it by liking, sharing, or commenting. Please subscribe to the channel and follow my Twitter. Until then, Joga Bonito.